a number of months ago, I came across this article that said you basically need to kill your inner child and to murder this part of yourself. And unsurprisingly, this was something that a man said, and this was aimed at other men. And the reason I say this is that it is not uncommon for a lot of the information that is directed at men to be very masculine, to be all about the doing and the getting out there and forcing things and willpower. It can be rare for a man to also embrace the feminine side if he is offering guidance. So this means he's not going to talk about surrendering and letting go, as well as the need, of course, to take action at the right time. It's simply going to be about force and getting out there. It's like a battle. Let's get out there and kill things and move things out of the way. And it's very much all about the mind, the intellect, and not really about the body and surrendering. So just being. So about the doing and not the being. And when I read this article, I was astounded and had a good laugh as well. And if someone was to take this approach, regardless of if they're a man or a woman, if someone was to realize or to get in touch with their inner child and they were to try to kill this part of them off, this is not going to happen. The only thing that this will do if they were to go with this approach is that they will simply, or they will most likely just repress their emotions. So they would just push this part of them because their inner child can be a representation, or it does represent their emotional self. So by killing this part, pushing this part out of their awareness, they can just become emotionally disconnected. And another thing as well, just because the parts of us that are in pain are often called the inner child or the inner children because there's many of these parts, it doesn't mean this is the only way. Instead, someone can just see these parts as being their split off parts. But regardless of how they label them, in order for them to become more integrated and to become whole, they will need to embrace these parts and to face the pain so that these parts can be integrated. Simply trying to kill them off and to push them away, the only thing that is going to do is just cause someone to live in their head, to be disconnected, and to lose touch with their feminine aspect. So this whole thing about killing things, no, that's not, as far as I'm concerned, that's not it, and that is not going to work. And although, if it comes to a man, killing these parts off can be seen as a way for him to grow from a boy to a man, the only thing this will do is cause him to wear a mask and to deep down feel like a boy. If he wants to feel like a man, to feel strong and powerful, working through these parts and integrating them will allow him to do that. But simply trying to bypass this and to become a man without doing the work is a short-term solution. And if someone does push these parts down and doesn't work with them, then it's going to be hard for them to experience deeper relationships with others because they will be out of touch with their emotional self. It will be hard for them to experience deep fulfillment because they will be out of touch with their emotions. So if you can see that there are times when you do feel like a child then working through these parts, allowing these parts of you to speak and to cry out, can allow you to become a more integrated human being. And this is all about surrender. There's no doing. I mean, the doing is getting in touch with these parts, and then it's about surrendering. But there's no force and trying to fix and change these parts. It's just embracing them and allowing them to speak. And as this happens, these parts will gradually integrate with the rest of them. And to do this process, someone may need to work with a therapist or a healer. And someone like this will hold the space so they can go where they wouldn't go by themselves. Because if someone does feel the need to kill this part and to push it down, it can be because they don't feel strong enough to go there. So pushing it down and denying it. Just like a parent ignoring their child because they can't handle their emotions. So when their child erupts as too much for them as an adult, they can be doing this to themselves. But once they start to build their own presence and they can hold the space for themselves and to do this work on themselves. But until that time, external support may be needed. So if you can relate to this, perhaps you need to reach out for support, and this will allow you to move forward in your life and to become a more whole and integrated human being in the process.